Hey, happy day, boomity boom, boom, boom. Next week, I'm going to a, by invitation only, kind of a special function at the CRPA in Long Beach, California. CRPA, they fight for gun owners throughout America, mostly in California, of course, but so much that they does go through the entire nation. CRPA, California Rifle and Pistol Association. It's going to be a fun evening. I'm there with President Chuck Michel and actor and patriot Joe Mantegna, and of course Maria. It'd be nice to see you there as well. It's going to be a fun night, and it's good to be among my own people that can talk about how crazy the government is. This Newsom, wow, basket case, no kidding. He keeps on doing all kinds of bad things towards us. He doesn't like us. Why? What is his problem? A list that's too numerous to mention. He's a liberal. What is in the head of a liberal? Whatever's there, I can tell you one thing, is rent-free. I mean, their socks don't match. Sharp as marbles. There's so many ways to describe a liberal. They keep on interfering with us, and we have to keep fighting. And that's why it's so good to have groups like the CRPA, NRA, CSSA, so many that actually fight for us all of the time. It's not just about guns. They actually fight for our freedom. If you didn't have a gun and were a member of one of these associations, you'd still benefit. Just saying. Canada. Right now, the prime mistake in Canada is being talked about by every adult in the world. Because this guy, I mean, he calls his own citizens Nazis. He calls them names. He's a dictator like no one else. He's totally destroyed the country. I don't think it can ever recover. It can never get back to where, I don't think. We'll see. But now he had a Nazi, a guy in his 90s, in the Parliament building talking to people. And everybody's kind of upset. The Jewish associations, they're just going wild with this, rightfully so. And Trudeau, he could care less. I mean, the Speaker of the House now has resigned, and hopefully there'll be some more resignations, but you're vetted. I mean, background checks are done, all of that stuff before you're even allowed in the building. And somehow or another, they end up with this. This is from the same guy, the same leader, that says China, that dictatorship is kind of cool, works pretty well, and he's one of them. And he's after all the gun rights, back to guns again, anything to do with his citizenry that looks like they have a mind of their own or free will, he's out to destroy, and he works at it every minute of every day. Wow. And now, jumping over to the United States of America, you got this judge in New York. Talk about craziness and moronic stuff. I mean, she's after Donald Trump. When he was president, she sued the presidency, the administration, numerous times. She's always doing that. And now she says, hey, I won. Donald Trump and his company committed fraud in his real estate business in New York because he overstated the values. Well, you know what? Firstly, I don't know that he did or didn't, but everyone else does. I mean, do you own a house? What's your house worth? I'm pretty sure you're going to give a number that's higher than what it's going to sell for. Everybody does. People buy houses for $500,000. The very next day, it's worth $600,000. That's what people do. When people want a mortgage, they go to the bank and say, that appraisal, that can't be right. Appraisals, they're the checks and the balances for the banks. It's up to the lender to go out and determine whether or not the person who's trying to borrow money is accurate with their valuation. Pretty simple stuff. Everyone does it. My building's worth $3 million. What did you pay for it? I bought it 2 years ago for $1 million. Market's changed. Okay, the market has changed, has it? The bank has to go in and assess that. Fraud? You're kidding me. And she did this. They're going after Trump with everything they got, but I got to tell you, make no mistake, it's absolutely possible that Trump can win the 2024 election. And he should take all these crazy people and send them to some island, and I'll name the island Crazy Place. That'd be good. Then you have this Senator Bob Menendez. Here's another package. Here's a piece of work. You know, he's a typical Democrat. I've got all this cash, which is okay. I mean, there's no shame in taking cash out of the bank, $500,000. I know people have more than that, stuffed away, and gold and silver. It's kind of like the McDuck thing, you know, Scrooge. You know, you like to play with your money and dive into it. If you have lots of it, go ahead. But this guy is suspect because at 20 years of age, he became mayor of a little town, and he's always been in politics. Now he's older. I think he's like, I don't know, late 60s, and I think he makes $175,000 a year. Got a big fancy house, and he's got mortgages, and he's got car payments, and all these things. So look at all that and then say, really? You got all this gold and all this cash? You can save that much from that salary? And when you're a mayor and all these other things on your way up, You didn't make very much money. Oh, and you've been charged for this before, by the way, for theft and stuff, and there was a hung jury. And now you're kind of back here again. Do a wealth test. A guy like him should have this much money. He's not supposed to work at Starbucks after hours because he works for the people. That's politics. But all of a sudden, he's got a lot of money. Almost half of all the senators and congressmen are multimillionaires. Really? They should have a wealth test? No kidding. Guys like Biden, here's what you've made. You've been, our employee for over 50 years of your life. Somehow or another, though, you're worth many millions of dollars per year of employment. And you only made, call it $100,000 a year average. Something smell there? What do you think about that? I think so. Hey, y'all come back. We're going to have more for you from the right. See ya.